Hey guys, I'm so glad you stopped by. So today, I thought we would do dinner. It's Wednesday, right? And what not better dinner than something that involves the word crack. It's awesome. And these are cracked chicken sandwiches. Now, I first became aware of these from a YouTube video I watched, and I will put it all down in the description how to get to it, because he did his on a Blackstone, the big griddle that you use outside, and it was absolutely amazing. And I actually made this video, well, originally tried to make this video 2 weeks ago, did not work out, but I was trying to figure out a good way to do this without using a griddle, because that's what he used. This thing involves bacon, it involves chicken, it involves jalapenos, but don't be scared of the jalapenos, because I'm here to tell you, there is no true heat involved. It just adds a world of flavor. But all of those things were done on his griddle, and I was trying to figure out a good way to duplicate that, and I think I've come up with one. Unfortunately, it involves us staying in the house and not being outside, but that's okay. At the moment, it's kind of chilly outside anyhow. We don't want to be outside too long in the cold or the coolness. That doesn't sound like fun, really. So anyhow, we're gonna do this on the stove, but it involves chicken, bacon, jalapenos. It's not really hard to do, and we're gonna cut up some thick slices of Italian bread, and we're gonna turn them into essentially just the most amazing grilled cheese sandwich you've ever seen, because this thing's got 4 different kinds of cheeses. Oh, it's just gonna be amazing. But anyhow, I think we're really gonna enjoy this, hands down. If you are new to my channel, this is your first video, welcome. I'm glad you stopped by. If you're returning or one of our new subscribers, welcome back and thank you. That means more to me than you will ever know. And it is awesome to see the way our community is growing. It's not exploding, but it is growing, and that's important. We are here for like-mindedness, communication through food, and just being all around good people, right? Comments, always welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. All I ask with comments is you be nice. Think before you type. It's okay to disagree, me or anybody else. Just be nice. You can even call me overweight if you want to. Just be polite about it. That being said, why don't we head on down here to the counter, where I will give you all your measurements in cups, tablespoons, teaspoons, also in grams and milliliters. So why don't we head on over here to the counter and get started making what I think is going to be an amazing sandwich. All right, hold on for me 1 second. All right, so we're here at the counter. And the first thing we needed to do was turn our, in my case, for the bacon, I'm going to cook my bacon in the oven. Now, if you want to cook yours in a pan, you are more than welcome to, but we need a pound of bacon. 454 grams of thick cut bacon, which I have right here in my handy dandy bag. And in my case, it's about 10 pieces, 11 pieces. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put it in my oven at 375 degrees, and I'm going to use my broiler pan. And I'm going to simply just lay these strips of bacon on my broiler pan, and not to, it's okay, you lay them right out. If you do it this way, oh, you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. You can fit as much bacon on here as your heart desires. I would just put this as a recommendation. Don't overlap them. So you don't want to like tear it apart and then put it right back on top of each other, if possible. Like I said, it is a pound of bacon, so it's a fair amount, and I am using thick cut bacon, but it won't cook evenly in the oven that way. But like I said, you can do it in a pan on your stovetop. I just, for this much bacon, to save a little time, it's just easier to put it in the oven at 375, and then that way I can bake it in the oven, or cook it in the oven, for about 30 minutes. Okay, so bacon's in the oven. Turn my cast iron on, got it warming up. I'm going to put just about a teaspoon's worth of olive oil in the bottom of that pan, just enough to get me in trouble, so to speak, kind of keep things from sticking in the beginning. Because we're gonna, when that bacon comes out of the oven, we are going to reserve some of that bacon grease, about a teaspoon's worth, to help and add that flavor. But got our oil in there, it's warming up. Next thing I'm going to do while that's warming up is I've got 1 pound of chicken thighs, and it's about 4 boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and I just simply cut them up. I already had them cut up, so that way I didn't have to worry about it. I bought a big family pack of it, and pretty much just cut it all up. But we just cut it into cubes, you know, to that point. But it's about a pound's worth. It's actually 500 grams, so it's a little over. It's like a pound and an ounce worth. But it's 4 chicken thighs at any rate, boneless, skinless. So we're gonna put that in there, and the next thing I'm gonna add to it is about 2 teaspoons worth of chicken dust. And there's a bunch of companies that make this. I never even knew this stuff existed until somebody actually gave me some. And it's really good. But I mean, if you don't have any, I mean, the basics behind it is just, you know, mustard powder, pepper, garlic powder, some onion powder, paprika, basically everything that you have up on a spice rack thrown into a shaker and called chicken powder. But I'm gonna put about 2 teaspoons worth of that on. Yeah, I want it coated good. And or let's say you don't want to use that. That's fine. You can use your favorite seasonings. We talked about Cajun seasonings, Creole seasonings. You could even use a poultry seasoning if that's what you want. But I really found when we made this the last time that this chicken dust, which is what they actually use in the video I watched, the original recipe for it, he uses, I think it's his brand of chicken dust on it. But we're going to put that on there first while that's heating up. That'll give it a minute for this to soak in. And I'm just mixing it with a gloved hand. That way I don't have to fuss with it. Throw a little more on there because why not? And I'm going to write the recipe down in the description below. I'll let you know. It's in this case, it's Weaver's Dutch Country Seasoning. Never heard of them. Like I said, somebody gave it to us because they didn't care for it, I guess. I think it tastes fantastic. But anyhow, got that in there. We're going to set that aside. And the next thing we're going to do, because we want to take these jalapenos, we've got 5 here, but we're only going to use 4. I've got 4 jalapenos. And what we're going to do is I'm going to cut the tops off of them. We're going to cut them in half. Just like such. Maybe. There we go. It doesn't seem to matter how sharp my knife is. I always struggle to get through peppers. Whether it's hot peppers or even green peppers. The outside skin always seems to be so tough. Which is a good sign of freshness. Especially if it doesn't budge. But we'll take a spoon. Now if you are wise, which I guess I'm not, you would use a gloved hand. But I'm going to take my spoon and I am going to go ahead and get the stem and seeds and the ribs out of this. And I'm going to do that to all 4 of them. Okay, so we are heated up for the most part, maybe a couple more minutes. Got my jalapenos cut and stemmed, I got them deseeded, right? And I got the ribs out of them, just like such. Now, that takes away about 95% of the heat and leaves you with a whole lot of flavor. I'm not going to say you're going to get rid of all the heat. That's just not possible. That's the way a jalapeno is meant to be, but that helps greatly. Now, let's say you like the heat, you don't mind the heat. You can most certainly leave all that in there or part of it in there. You could take that, it's called the placenta, and that's what holds all those seeds there at the top. You can pop that out and leave the ribs, and that will give you a little more heat without giving you all the heat. So now there's 2 ways you can go about roasting these. We want to roast them and we want to get the inside real good too. See how it's curved? Now if you have a flat iron, you could weight to put on, you most certainly can. I do. I have several to choose from. But you could also just take it with the palm of your hand and smash it. And that will make it flat. And then we're just going to put these in here like such, you know, or if you don't want to sit here and hammer them, which I don't know why you wouldn't, it's fun, you can take the end and just cut one end off of it, cut the other end of it off, and it will make it flat. So, but I think it's more fun to smash them down. All right, we got our jalapenos in the pan, so now what we're going to do is we're going to let those cook and give them a good sear on both sides so they look blistered like we're about to peel them, right? Okay, so we are got our Pepper's looking nice and charred, right? Both sides. So now we'll just, got a bowl sitting right here. I'm just gonna put these in there, and then we can move on to our chicken. It's been sitting there kind of soaking it up, that seasoning, and it's doing a couple things there because the seasoning has salt in it, right? And salt, if you didn't know, will tenderize meat. So not only is it a thigh, so it'll be nice and tender anyhow, but we've got, sorry, those jalapenos, ooh, they'll do a number on you. But it tenderizes it even more, so it helps that to be nice and juicy. So we're gonna go ahead, we'll get our chicken in here, we'll get it cooked next. So some things to remember about chicken, or any protein that you're cooking, especially in cast iron, is once you get it on there, you don't want to overcrowd, right? So you don't want to just pile chicken or whatever your protein is in there. But you also want to let it cook for a minute or two before you try to move it. If not, chances are good it's going to stick to the pan and it's just going to tear your protein. Where if we let it sit and cook for a minute or two, it will. It won't stick. At least it shouldn't in theory. But anyhow, that's just a little tip for you. So we're going to let this chicken cook until it's no longer pink on the inside and it's cooked all the way through. Alright guys, so our chicken is done. Right there we are. And I went ahead and got it set in the bowl too. And stovetop's off and all that. We're going to have to turn it back on though, just to reheat this to make our sandwiches with. But before we do that, ooh, these jalapenos are just beating me up today. I got my jalapenos right here, my bacon over here. See how nice and beautiful that turned out after, 30 minutes, 25, 30-ish minutes in the oven. We have to let all this cool a little bit because we're about to make it into a filling for our sandwiches. But first thing we need to do is go ahead and get as much of this chopped up as we can. Now here's where it kind of depends on your taste. The chicken is bite-sized and this is going to be a filling, but do you want it to be chunky or fine? Or I'm dicing mine up. I'm going to tell you in the directions to give it a fine chop or even a dice. So I'm going to do this to the jalapenos and the bacon both. Okay, so we got our bacon's done, our jalapenos are done, chicken is cut, we've let it cool a little bit, so now we can go ahead and put our filling together. And the reason why you want to let that cool a little bit is, I guess it doesn't really matter, but it kind of does. It'll make it easier to mix together if it is. But we're going to go ahead and mix this with some cheeses and some ranch seasoning. But what we'll want to do is we've got 8 ounces of cream cheese and it's softened, just one block, 227 grams, 227 grams of cream cheese. And then I have got 8 ounces, half a pound, 227 grams of mozzarella cheese shredded. Throw that in there. And then we are got the exact same 8 ounces, 227 grams, a half a pound of sharp cheddar cheese. Put that in there, just like such. I mean, you could in reality make this your own and add different cheeses, again, different spices. But I've got a 1 ounce package of ranch mix, 28 grams worth. It's just ranch dip mix. We're going to go ahead and put that in there, like such. And then I'm going to grab a glove real quick. I have found gloves to be the greatest thing ever. Now you can just use a spoon to mix all this together, but I found the last time I did this, when I attempted the video to show you guys this, the glove was so much easier than a spoon. It made the process faster. But we got that in there. You got your cheeses, your ranch mix in there. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and put my bacon, my chicken, and my jalapenos in here, like such. And I'll tell you, for as much as those jalapenos were liking to take my breath away, they smell amazing. Just amazing. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give this a good mix to ensure we got it all together. All right, so got our mix together, just like such, looking good. Now we got to, I'm gonna go ahead and turn my stovetop back on. I'm not gonna turn it on real high because we're basically gonna make grilled cheese sandwiches with the chicken mix in the center of it. But I've got 4 tablespoons, 57 grams of butter right here. I'm gonna go ahead and get those in my cast iron. Along with, I forgot something. Let me take the lid off of that, my broiler with my bacon. And we are gonna add about a teaspoon or 2 of bacon grease to this. We really want that bacon flavor in there. Yeah, it's with just the bacon itself, it kind of just, I don't want to say it's not there, but it's, you know, you want it to be a major player in the game. So we'll go ahead and get that mixed in there real good, real quick. Can't believe I forgot that. That's just sad. Of all the things, but that's all right. Now, if you're doing this on your griddle, your Blackstone, I think is what they're called, you would want to cook your bacon first. Mostly cook your bacon on it first. Don't take it off until it's done, but you want that grease because you'll want to cook your chicken in that grease along with your jalapenos. What's on there, but we're still gonna, this part is still the same. He just put a whole stick of butter on his Blackstone in order to make his sandwiches instead of buttering the outside of them. But I've got a Italian loaf right here that we're gonna use, and I don't want to use the smaller parts of the ends, so I'll go ahead and give that a cut off. And we're gonna cut these fairly thick, about Texas toast thick, about 3/4 to an inch in thickness. All right, we got those cuts. Now we'll set these out just like such. See how well I did? I didn't do too bad. You know, they're about even per sandwich at any rate. So now we're gonna take some mayo, mayo of your choice. I like Duke's. I use Duke's for everything. Everything, baking, cooking, doesn't matter. It's in my mind, Duke's is the only way to go. But you use your favorite. And we're just gonna do now, when I made these the last time, I did it on both sides, and I found it to be very tasty. But Chris said that she thought it made the sandwich a little too sloppy and that I should probably only do one side. So we're going to compromise. I'm going to not put as much mayo on because I really slathered it on the last time. But I'm still going to do it on both sides. I'm just going to put it on lightly, but you put on as much or as little as you like. On your sandwiches for sure. Use your favorite mayo. You put a ton of it on there. You can put hardly any of it. That's completely up to you. Or, I mean, for that matter, if you don't like it, you don't have to put mayo on it. I don't know what that would do to the all-in-all flavor of it all, but you don't have to. So, now that we got our mayonnaise on there, I got butter is melted. I've got each sandwich is going to get a slice of pepper jack on one side, just a good old-fashioned pepper jack cheese. And I broke it in half, so it looks like you got 2 slices, like such. And then on the bottom, we are going to use some Havarti cheese. And until a week or so ago when we had these, I didn't even know Havarti cheese was a thing. Absolutely amazing cheese. But again, I'll take the slice. Make sure you remove the paper if you get it with the paper. You don't want anybody eating paper, that'd be weird. But fold it in half. And that way you essentially got 2 slices, or it's double thick, like such. And then we will take a spoon, since I threw mine in the sink. And we're gonna load this, the chicken bacon jalapeno cheese mix. That's a lot to say. On here, and you can put as much or as little as you like on these. Here, remember, it's your sink. That chunk on there like such, and then we're going to fold these over. Oh, I made them backwards. top of the bread, bottom of the bread. You know what though? It's okay. Actually, you know what? We could just as easily. I was gonna say we just as easily flip them around, but why? All right, so we got our butter on, right? It's melted, it's heated. That is the greatest idea for a grilled cheese sandwich ever. Now, before I put these on here, I'm gonna let you know, don't walk away at this point, because even though we're cooking low and that butter's hot, the last time I made these, I actually burnt about three to four of them. I didn't burn them, but they were dark at any rate, because I walked away for just 1 minute. So we're gonna put our grilled cheese, our sandwiches in that hot butter, and then I am going to take a pan, since I don't have a press, just like we were talking about a minute ago, and I'm gonna put them on here, put it on here. This way, it helps to melt that cheese on the inside, but I get a good even, grill on the bread on both sides by doing it this way. I'll let this go for about a minute. I'm gonna check it, and then I'll flip it over if they're where we need to be. Okay, so we are done. I actually made up 5 of them. I can show you. Now, I talked about how you could probably get 12 out of these easily, because I filled up a quart bag, freezer bag. I filled that up with the leftover. Now, what am I going to do with it? I'm going to stick it in the freezer. That way, I mean, unless you're going to make 12 of them right off the rip, or, you know, you got enough people to feed, these are filling. I can't eat 2. No matter how hard I try, I can't eat 2. But you can freeze the filling, and that way you got it later on, right? So I made 5 up here. I probably got another 5 or 6 left in that bag that I can do up for another meal for all of us down the road. But until then, you know, but that's what you can do with the extra. So don't be afraid to make it, you know, because you can always put it in the freezer, and it's good for months. I'm gonna say at least 3, but probably 6. Most things are good. Most things in your freezer are good for 6 months if they're sealed right or packaged properly. And that way they don't get freezer burn as your only enemy. If you can keep it from freezer burning, vacuum sealing, things like that, it won't go bad. It just won't. That's just a fact of life. But anyhow, let's go ahead. I'm gonna grab one of these. I'm gonna cut it in half. That looks beautiful. And we'll give this batch a try. Like I said, I know when I made them the last time, Chris couldn't get enough. She just kept raving about them, and I get it. They are absolutely delicious. There's our inside right there, just packed full. Yeah, and I think this is going to be, I know it's going to be like crack. They are addictive, hence the name Crack Chicken Sandwich. That's it. You can do these. You can cook all that in the oven. You can do it like we did it. You can cook it all out on the grill, the griddle, the Blackstone. Your possibilities on how to cook this are endless. So it's an easy take it camping with you type meal. But anyhow, let's give this a try and see how we did. Man. I'm here to tell you what, that, other than being a little messy, which is okay, a lot of that's the cheese, just squirting out everywhere, a little bit of the mayonnaise. I mean, we did put mayonnaise on it. But that is so good. So good. That is like the first time you ever kissed a girl or a boy, depending on who you are. That feeling you got, you know, the endorphins running, endorphins? Yeah, endorphins. The adrenaline rush, the holy cow, I just kissed somebody feeling. That's it, right there. Exact same thing. Every time, every bite. Oh, so good. But anyhow, give this a try. It's not hard. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. Because I feel like I didn't explain something right somewhere or somehow. But anyhow, give this a try. Let me know down in the comments below if you make this, or if you have a recipe for it, or I mean, this might be something you've made for years and I'm way behind the game. I don't know. But let me know either way. You know, here, Facebook, at the my Mr. Smith's Kitchen group, you can do it there. But let me know either way. Or if there's something you'd like to try, see me try and make, let me know. I do try very hard to make sure I hit everybody's requests. Doesn't always work, but I try very hard all the same. Tomorrow for dessert, I really have no clue what we're doing. Not yet. It is fall, so it might be something fall-like, but it might be something spring-like. Who knows? It just really, I don't think desserts or meals, food of any kind, should have a seasonal label. Like soup and chili is good in the summertime. I don't care what anybody says. Pumpkin pie, you should be able to have any time of the year. So it really just, will depend on our mood, right? So until tomorrow for dessert, I love you. I love you very much, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else you love them and love them very much. They may need to hear it, and even if they're not having a day where they need to hear it, it's always nice to hear it. It'll make them smile, make them feel good on the inside. It's gonna make you smile and feel good on the inside too. And you make them some of these cracked chicken sandwiches, you're gonna have a smile. They're gonna have a smile. It's gonna lead to an evening of conversation. And if you make all 12 of those, I guarantee you can invite the neighbors over and a couple more friends at any rate, and make it an evening, right? So, until tomorrow for dessert, I love you, and I will see you then. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.